And dealing with the grandchildren will give you some kind of relief from the humdrum of the world. That's how I deal with my weaknesses, and
So
I don't think weaknesses should be avoided, because that reminds you of your mortality, Madam Justice.
Okay. Dean, if you will be appointed as the next Chief Justice, the Philippine Judicial Academy will be one of your responsibilities. Okay. Can you tell us your vision for the PILJA?
I think the Philippine Judicial Academy would concentrate on human resources development as far as the judges are concerned, and the personnel of the judiciary. Philosophy. They have to be developed to reflect and contemplate. And they will be able to discover the solutions to problems. I believe that we have to empower, Madam Justice, our judges, because we cannot solve the problem from the top. We can only solve it to the soldiers below. And they will be the one to bring reforms. And I'm sure that most of those in the judiciary, the judges, they are well-meaning. They decided to be part of the judiciary because they want to render service. You have to equip them, inspire them, show leadership by example, be transparent, underscore the meaning of accountability, especially in the judiciary. I think we'll have more. If I have 10 fingers with me as Chief Justice, and you have empowered the judges, there will be as many 10 fingers as there are judges in the judiciary.
Okay. Now, this is my last question from me personally. Can you tell us the advantage, if any, of having a man from the academy to lead the Supreme Court at this time?
I think those who preceded me will show the advantage of man coming from the academy. But I am not just an academician. In the morning, I am in my office. In the afternoon, I sit in the board of trustees. Later in the day, I am on public discussions. I am also the president of the Billion Trees movement. We do things for the environment. As I said, the legal aid is also one of these things. I am a member of the Rotary Club. My hands are full, but I am happy doing all these things because it's a source of fulfillment, self-fulfillment, Madam Justice.
Okay. Now, this is a question from our Twitter for Dean Valdez. Now, Dean Valdez, I will read the question. Would you entertain the idea that imposing court fees reaching millions of pesos is already a form of taxation and should be discontinued?
I think that is unconstitutional. I don't know why the Supreme Court had imposed that. I know there are problems to be addressed, the need for financial resources. But I said, this is one source that is not harmful to the people. The issuance of IDs. Because the problem, Madam Chair, when I was required to submit this clearance, I have to get the court clearance, then you have to apply. But if you have an ID, which was issued by the court already, and it is systematized, we have computerized records, then it will appear that you don't have any record. Why give additional burden to people, the man hours that is needed for economic development must be saved from the requirement of going to the court for these clearances if you have the ID. You have the ID that is issued by the court. And this, you can use it, you can generate funds. Millions, 90 million people getting an ID from the court that will reduce the filing fees in courts.
So, are you saying, Dean, that if you will become the Chief Justice, you will stop the imposition of court fees?
Well, we have to sit down, we have to discuss it, but my inclination is we have to be reasonable. We have to really find the middle way. The middle way is always what we call, Aristotle called it the golden mean.
Okay.
In this world, you have to be realistic and practical, and you have to always do the middle. If this water is too cold, and this water is too hot, I will not drink it from it. While I am now responding to your question, so there must be a middle mean, and we have to look for it. It's easy to look for that, as long as you have good intentions and you want to protect the people.
Okay, Dean, this is my last question from the Twitter. Based on your expertise on agrarian reform, will you kindly comment in the case of Hacienda Luisita Incorporated versus Park, specifically on the question of just compensation?
I think that is now pending. I think it has to be reasonable, but it should not be affecting very much the coffers of the country. I think that Hacienda has been already used for productive purposes. There has been income through the years coming from it. You have to go into the table and compute how much reward the owners have received from it, and perhaps we could appeal to their patriotism, so that all these farmers can have these lands at a doable cost. As I said, Madam Justice, what is important is, will they be more productive will having this land? I have seen farmer leaders, they are also themselves, if you give them 1 hectare, they will employ another person. They are doing their advocacy, but they are not doing the farming. I think we should have an inventory of those who have been granted lands from this program. Between the time they got the land and today, have they reinvented themselves? Were we able to achieve the purposes of the agrarian reform program?
Okay. On that note, Mr. Chair, I have no more questions for Dean Valdez. Thank you very much, Dean.
Justice Porissima, sir. Sorry, Hermosissima. Pangatlong araw na kasi. Sorry, Sarah.
Good morning, Dean.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for considering me again.
In your case, it's all right to be narcissistic because you really deserve the accolades given to you.
I did not realize I was exhibiting some kind of narcissistic tendency. I was just passionate in answering the very searching questions from the panel, Mr. Justice.
The tremendous inherent power in the hands of a Chief Justice require that those appointed to the position should possess the highest degree of competence, integrity, and judicial prudence, because the administration of justice is a sacred task entrusted only to individuals with the highest degree of competence. Because a judicial post is a position of honor and is offered only to those who are best qualified. Do you consider yourself fit under this